Hey guys, Barbara here, and I have Joe with me today because we need some help. I told Joe I'm going to make this video and put it at my YouTube cooking page and I might put it on all my pages. I'll put it on all my pages because you don't know who's watching what page, and I'll even put it at Facebook, but I'll only leave this video up long enough to get some help. And after we get the help, if the person that helps me actually fixes the problem, I will promote the heck out of your mechanic business, okay? I'm telling you, we need some mechanic help. So I made some notes because we had started to record the video just now, but Joe was not in sequence with how these events happen, and I don't want it to get confusing. So our daughter Jada owns a 2002 Buick Rendezvous, and last year, right before the shutdown in 2020, the car started to leak water, and Joe ascertained that it was the radiator. So she parked it because we couldn't go anywhere anyways, and it stayed there for months. I want to say like 6 months it sat out there on the street. Didn't move it at all, didn't even start it up or anything. I finally bought the radiator for her from Amazon, and Joe sat it there for another few weeks before he went and tried to put it in. So when he tried to put it in, of course the battery on the car was dead. So he brought it inside and put it on a charger that we have to charge the battery. And then he went to go put it in. The reason that he wanted the car to start is because he wanted to bring it into the driveway to fix it, because we're not allowed to fix cars on the street over here in the burbs where we live. So in any case, when he put the battery in, he says the battery can only go one way, right?
Right.
So you couldn't put it in wrong, because that's the first thing people have told us. You put the battery in wrong. So he put it in, connected it, and what happened?
The minute I connected the battery, the alternator wire started burning.
So, and it's not just that it started to burn and you see it charred. It was fire. There was actual flames. He put it out with a rag and he disconnected the battery really fast. And he says the wire still looks good, like maybe it's not damaged. So our mechanic that usually fixes our car, he actually has a mechanic shop, but for some reason he's not interested in fixing this car. I think because we would have to tow it there, and if it's like a lot of work, he doesn't have anywhere to store it at night when it's done, so he don't want to hear nothing about this car. But he did tell us he thought maybe the wire harness was burnt or destroyed or whatever. We really have not looked into that yet, right?
So what I did, I take out all the burn fuse and put them back in there.
Okay, he checked the fuse, changed all the burn fuse, and there were 4 bad ones that were 10 amps, right?
10 amps.
And he replaced all of those. When the thing burned, the car lost all power.
That's right.
So there's no lights, no horns, no nothing, it's dead, no power. When he changed those fuse, the power came back, but the car can't start, right? Am I correct so far? All right, so then at that point, another friend of ours that's a mechanic that can't make it up here, he was in Belize, he told Joe to check to make sure the battery was good. Right? Because maybe the battery bad. So Jada took it to Tracado, AutoZone, whatever. They tested it and said, no, the battery is no good. So the battery was bought at Costco like a year prior. So Joe took it back. You know, they have a good return policy. And they switched it out. So we have a brand new battery, right? You came back and the friend told us to disconnect the alternator wire and just connect the battery, right? To what? Connect the battery to what? Just put the battery in and put it to the pole and disconnect the alternator wire. Right. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because I don't know the car lingo, so he has to correct me. When he did that, he did get power back to the car. So you have horn, light, stuff like that, dashboard light up, whatever, right? So the power came back. So then the friend in Belize said, check the starter. So Joe went underneath the car and knocked it with the hammer or whatever the hell you do to check the starter.
That never worked.
He said that didn't work, but you bridged something.
So I took a screwdriver and bridged the starter to the Bendix.
He bridged the starter to the Bendix and he said it spin, right? The Bendix sound good.
So
okay. So but you still replaced the starter.
I still replaced the starter.
Me again. That's my money again, okay? So then what happened after that? The car still not start.
Still never start.
So then is that when you did the crank relay to the starter pole?
Then I jumped the crank relay
to the starter pole.
To the starter pole, and it's crank.
It's spinning.
It's spin, but it don't. But it doesn't
crank over.
And it's spinning. But
is it that chuka 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 chuka? Is that how it's going?
Right.
You sure it's not the time and chain?
Yeah, the time and chain wasn't bad at the time, man.
Well, I don't know. We've had old cars where crap goes out, and I have to ask, what about the ignition module?
I don't know.
Ignition switch.
I don't know.
Okay, so guys, this is where we are. If you're a mechanic and you know all this lingity that we just said here just now, would you please reach out? I have my phone number listed in the description below. That's my Google number, all right? call that number, text that number, help us out with fixing this car. And if you have a mechanic shop, we will promote the hell out of your mechanic shop, because we really need for this car to get started so we can smog it. It's not the registration is up to date because we had to get it registered by the ending of May, but it needs to be smogged, and I don't know how long we'll be able to sit it in the driveway without sending the smog to Sacramento, so that they can know that we're not driving this car dirty. This car is not moving at all. It's just sitting there in the driveway. What Jada wants to do is get it working so she can smog it, so she can sell it back to the state for like $1,500. You know, she wants to get as much money as she can out of it and set it aside to try to buy a new car in the very near future. At the state's website, it says if the car passes smog, you can't sell it back to the state unless you're low income, which that's what we is. But if it fails the smog, then you can sell it to the state if you're low income or not. But we can't even get it to move. They want it moving. If not, you're gonna have to sell it to those places that buy junk cars, and they'll probably want to give her like $200. I'd rather for her to try to get $1,500. So it's not that she's even wanting to keep the car, but we need to get this car going. So I desperately need your help. Well, we need your help. Any kind of suggestion, please throw it down there. Now, if you're just a commoner like me and Joe and you're Googling things, I don't know that I'm going to try all that stuff you're Googling, because we don't have money to put good money after bad money right now. We really need a mechanic.
I even put some starter fluid in the travel bottle to see it get it started, but I still don't do nothing.
Okay, so that's the last thing you did. And it's still chuka 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 chuka. Where, you know what? I'm gonna take the camera outside and have Joe jump the thing that he did later on when the sun cooled, when the heat is down. Okay, hot right now. We'll do that so you guys can hear it, because I think mechanics have ear, just like a musician has the ear. They can hear it to hear. Oh, I know what that sound is. It's kind of like how I can smell when oils are leaking on the car, because to me, transmission fluid smells like really bad pancake syrup. That's why I don't like pancake syrup. It smells awful to me. You know, so I know when cars are leaking oil because I can smell it. Anyways, guys, if you can help us, please help us.
As you can see, we have power. But when you turn the ignition, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to leave the ignition on. And then I'm going to try to start the car. Okay, this is what I did. This is the crank relay right here. So I take the crank relay, I put a hot wire from the crank relay to this is the starter wire, and touch the starter wire. Start. If you look, see, this was the alternator wire that burned a little bit. See, but see, I think I could clean it up and go good again. So I just got to connect it back up there. But that's not going to stop it from start.
Do you think it's like spark plugs or something?
So what I did, I take some starter fluid and put it in here for the throttle bottle body.
And how much is an ignition switch? Is it expensive to try to?
I don't know. I haven't looked that up. See, I don't think the gas was low. I put.
But you put 3 gallons gas in, right?
3 gallons of gas in there, and that shouldn't make it start.
So you don't think it's a gas issue?
I don't know.
When you go inside, price the ignition switch to see, and then I'm gonna put up this video and see if we get some feedback. Okay?
Okay, people. So let's leave this alone. Let's take off the the lights up and everything. No problem.
That's encouraging. At first we didn't have that, right?
Horn honking and all that.
I think we're close. I think we're close to figuring out what's wrong.
So
okay, guys, I look forward to your comments. Please suggest something for us, especially if you're a mechanic. I just don't want them to be Googling things and then we go down wild goose chases, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye, people.